everyone. So here I am. I'm in central Newfoundland. This is the area where I grew up, and I am at a trailhead here now, and we are going to be, that's my car there, we're going to be taking our snowshoes in, and we're going to be walking to a place called Goodyear's Dam. A beautiful, beautiful spot. And I got a lot of fond memories of that place. So I'm going to be just taking a walk in today, and I'm going to be lighting a little fire, and I'm going to test out a little idea that I have. So yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, so before I get started, I'm just going to talk about some of the gear that I have. These are my Canadian Forces surplus snowshoes. Now, these snowshoes are made from magnesium, and they're nearly indestructible. And I got them from Hero Outdoor Outfitters. It's an Ontario, Hero Outdoors. It's an Ontario Army surplus store. I got them through mail order. These things are near indestructible. They're really, really good and super light. The combined of the two snowshoes combined, I think, is like 5 pounds. And for the flotation that you get out of these, and for the weight, you're not going to get much better for the flotation with these things. These things are fantastic. So I'm looking forward to give these a try today. Yeah, so here I am walking up the old trail that takes you up to Goodyear's Dam. Right behind me, you can see portions of the Exploits River. And the Exploits River is Newfoundland's largest river, I believe. And it pretty much takes, from east to west, is about a third or 2/3 of the island long. It's a very long river. And for many hundreds of years, this river has been the source of living for the Aboriginals and for the Europeans when they came over. And in the last 150 years, this was a major source of income for the pulp and paper mill that was established here in Grand Falls. The mighty Exploits. It starts at Red Indian Lake, and it flows east towards the Bay of Exploits. Beautiful, beautiful lake. Beautiful, beautiful river. The country that this river cuts through is amazing. And I highly recommend, if anyone ever gets the opportunity to canoe or travel down the river, it's well worth it. Well worth it. So one of the biggest differences about the island is where I live. I live on the Avalon Peninsula, which is as far east as you can get. And the terrain and the woodlands are different than in Central. Central is just an amazing, beautiful spot. In my opinion, it's the nicest part of the island. But one of the biggest difference you'll see is the birch. Central is full of birch. Birch everywhere. And you can tell you're in Central because the birch that grows here, its bark is always very white, very frisk, very wispy. And this stuff here is phenomenal. At home, the birch bark is like thicker, it's darker, it is not as wispy, and I don't think it burns as well. But here in Central, man, this stuff is like gas. Anyway, so I'm always picking this stuff up whenever I go by. Whenever I come to Central, I'll get handfuls and handfuls of this. My best friend and I last year, we went out one day and we had an old rucksack, and we filled it full, stogged it full of birch bark. Brought it back to the Avalon, and I used that all last year. That stuff is excellent. Anyway, it's a beautiful day. As you can see, the snow is gently falling here. It's cold. It's about -6 right now. But I'm pretty comfortable. The trail is really well packed. There's people going up and down these things on quads all the time. But there's several inches of snow on the ground. And the snowshoes are working comfortable. They're working well. So yeah, I'm just dodging along. See how it goes. What a beautiful place. I wish I never had to go home. I really wish I don't. So I want to take a minute just to talk about the clothing that I'm wearing and to let you know how important layering your clothing is. Right now, I've been wearing this acrylic hat or toque from Boil Up NL. Great little local company. I've been wearing this religiously since I got sent to me, and I gotta say I'm really happy with it. It's just light enough to not feel heavy on my head, but it keeps my head warm and it doesn't feel like my head's being crushed or there's a lot of weight on my head. So I very much like this. Very, very much. So Boil Up NL, wipe up my shoes. So Boil Up NL, a nice little company. Check them out. Local Newfoundland company. Good clothing. I recommend checking out the shop. I'm also wearing my hunting jacket, and underneath that I have a standard zip-up hoodie. But below that, I am wearing my Wool Love merino wool thermal layers. And that's all I'm wearing because I'm doing a lot of hiking and I'm doing a lot of motion. I've hiked about 4 kilometers today with snowshoes on, and I'm damp from sweat. And I like having zip-ups because as I'm walking, I can unzip my jacket and my sweater to allow better airflow and to allow my clothing to dry. But the merino wool from Wool Love, I gotta say, man, I got the underneath my wind pants. That's all I'm wearing is the thermal base layers for there as well. And yeah, so you want to wear layering. Very important to layer your clothing, and then to be able to, well, in my opinion, to have it so you can unzip it and not have to take it all off is another great example of good layering. Because if it was a sweater, I would have to pull it off and I gotta unpack it, but here I can at least unzip it. I can unzip it and allow better airflow in and around my chest, because a lot of my heat's gathering right here, and if it gets damp and I cool off later, my core temperature is going to drop because all that cold and dampness is right there. So wear zip-up clothing if you can. That's just my personal opinion. Others may disagree, but you know, change my mind. So I'm walking home, and I'm pretty close. I'm only about maybe 1 kilometer away from the road where I got parked. But I looked in through a clearing, and as you can see, there's the river there. But I saw something kind of metallic, and I found this. It's a wood stove, and it looks like a blind and a windbreak. And it looks like some people were coming down here having a little bit of a fire. So I think this is where I'm going to have my fire before I head home. So I walked up the Goodyear's Dam. It was a beautiful day. It was overcast and snowy and flurries, and I decided to walk back, and the sky broke open and the
Sun's shining, blue skies. I got a nice little fire going. It's places like this. It's the only time I feel real peace with myself and who I am. So I think I'm just going to relax and then call it a day. But I gotta say, those snowshoes worked really well. It was a beautiful day. I'm nice and warm. Got a nice little fire going. Yeah, life is pretty good right now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day.